Let me start with something most people don't want to hear. You're not exhausted because you work too hard. You're exhausted because you've spent years working on things that don't matter to you anymore. And if you're over 50, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You wake up tired not because your body is failing you, but because your life is. I've worked 100-hour weeks for decades, not because I'm some kind of machine, not because I enjoy suffering, but because I learned a truth that most people never figure out. Burnout doesn't come from hard work, it comes from meaningless work. If you're anxious about money, your future, or whether you still have time to build something that actually matters, stay with me. You need to hear this. Let me be blunt. Most people are drowning in a kind of quiet exhaustion they don't even recognize. It's not physical, it's not medical, it's not age, it's misalignment. You're tired because you're waking up to a life you didn't choose. You're drained because you're surrounded by noise, meetings that go nowhere, people who don't inspire you, routines that slowly suffocate your ambition. You're overwhelmed because you're doing everything except the thing that actually matters. And then you wonder why you feel burnt out. I've seen people collapse emotionally from 40-hour weeks. I've seen others thrive on 120. The difference isn't the hours, it's the meaning behind the hours. If you're watching this, you're probably feeling the weight of time. You're wondering if you wasted too many years. You're wondering if you still have enough energy left to build something meaningful. You're wondering if you missed your chance. You didn't, but you will if you keep living the same way. Let me tell you something I've learned the hard way. Your energy isn't disappearing, it's being stolen. Stolen by distractions, stolen by obligations, stolen by fear, stolen by people who don't care about your future as much as you do. And if you don't take control of it, you'll spend the rest of your life wondering why you never had the strength to change. Here's what I learned over 25 years of pushing myself to the edge. You don't need more energy. You need fewer energy leaks. You don't need more motivation. You need a mission. You don't need balance. You need clarity. People look at my schedule and think I'm superhuman. I'm not. I just stopped wasting energy on things that don't matter. By the end of this video, you'll understand how I work 100-hour weeks without collapsing, how I avoid burnout even when everything is on fire, how you can reclaim your energy even if you feel like you're running out of time, and how to build a life that actually fuels you instead of draining you. I'm not here to motivate you, I'm here to wake you up. Because if you're over 50, you don't have time for soft advice. You need clarity. You need direction. You need a system that actually works. And that's what I'm going to give you. Let's get into the real lessons.
Most people burn out not because they're doing too much, but because they're doing too much of the wrong things. And I learned this the hard way. When I was building SpaceX and Tesla at the same time, I didn't have the luxury of wasting a single hour. Every minute mattered. Every decision mattered. Every distraction had a cost. And when you're fighting for survival, you start to see how much of your life is filled with things that drain you instead of fuel you. I remember one week at Tesla when we were literally days away from running out of money. People were panicking. Investors were calling. The media was predicting our death. And inside the company, everyone wanted to have meetings about feelings, meetings about morale, meetings about what this means. I didn't have time for that. I focused on one thing, getting cars out the door. That clarity saved the company. Most people don't realize how much energy they lose to meaningless obligations. You say yes to things you don't care about, you tolerate people who drain you, you fill your schedule with tasks that make you feel productive but don't move your life forward. You're not burned out, you're leaking energy. And if you're over 50, you've probably spent decades leaking energy without even noticing. You've built routines around obligations instead of priorities. You've built habits around comfort instead of progress. You've built a life that keeps you busy instead of fulfilled. Let me tell you something blunt. Busy is the enemy of productive. When I cut the noise, my energy skyrocketed. When I cut the noise, my clarity sharpened. When I cut the noise, I stopped feeling overwhelmed. You can do the same. Practical takeaway. Here's what I want you to do. Identify your energy leaks, people, tasks, habits, obligations. Cut 20% of your schedule immediately, the lowest value items. Protect your attention like it's your retirement fund. Focus on the mission-critical 5%, the things that actually move your life forward. You don't need more hours, you need fewer leaks. Lesson 2. I work from purpose, not pressure. People think I work 100-hour weeks because I'm addicted to work. No, I work 100-hour weeks because I'm obsessed with the mission. Purpose is renewable energy. Pressure is battery power. It drains fast. When I was sleeping on the factory floor at Tesla, I wasn't doing it to look tough. I wasn't doing it for PR. I wasn't doing it because I enjoy sleeping next to industrial robots. I did it because I believed in what we were building. I did it because I wanted the team to know I was in the fight with them. I did it because the mission mattered more than my comfort. Purpose kept me going when everything else was falling apart. If you're exhausted, it's probably because you're working for a paycheck, not a purpose. You're working for approval, not meaning. You're working for survival, not impact. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Money doesn't energize you. Meaning does. If you're over 50, you've probably spent decades working for reasons that no longer inspire you. You've outgrown your job, but you're still doing it. You've outgrown your routines, but you're still repeating them. You've outgrown your goals, but you're still chasing them. No wonder you're tired. Let me tell you something that might sting. You're not burned out, you're uninspired. When you find something that actually matters to you, your energy changes, your posture changes, your voice changes, your entire life changes. Purpose is the closest thing humans have to a superpower. Practical takeaway. Here's what I want you to do. Identify your energy leaks, people, tasks, habits, obligations. Cut 20% of your schedule immediately, the lowest value items. Protect your attention like it's your retirement fund. Focus on the mission-critical 5%, the things that actually move your life forward. You don't need more hours, you need fewer leaks.
Lesson 3. I eliminate friction ruthlessly. Most people think burnout comes from big challenges. It doesn't. Burnout comes from 1,000 tiny annoyances that slowly crush your spirit. The emails you keep answering out of obligation, the meetings that should have been 5 minutes but somehow become 50, the people who interrupt you because they can't solve their own problems, the tasks that should take 10 minutes but take 2 hours because of bureaucracy. These are friction points, and friction is the silent killer of energy. When I was scaling Xbox, we had a process that required 17 approvals just to make a minor engineering change. 17. By the time the paperwork was done, the rocket could have launched itself out of frustration. So, I cut it. Not trimmed it, not optimized it, eliminated it. We went from 17 approvals to 2. Productivity skyrocketed, morale improved, people stopped drowning in nonsense. Here's the truth. Your life has friction points that are draining you every single day. You just don't see them because you've normalized them. If you're over 50, you've probably spent decades tolerating inefficiencies that should have been removed years ago. You've built routines around inconvenience. You've built habits around inefficiency. You've built a life that exhausts you before you even start the real work. Let me be blunt. You don't need more discipline. You need less friction. Practical takeaway. Here's what I want you to do. Identify your daily friction points, the tasks that drain you more than they should. Automate or eliminate low-value tasks. Stop doing things that don't matter. Reduce decision fatigue. Simplify your environment, your schedule, your commitments. Fix the bottlenecks you've been tolerating, the things you complain about but never change. Friction is optional. Stop treating it like destiny. Lesson 4. I don't rely on motivation. I rely on discipline. People love to talk about motivation. They want to feel inspired. They want the spark, the excitement, the emotional high. But motivation is unreliable. It disappears the moment life gets difficult. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't negotiate. Discipline doesn't wait for the perfect moment. There were days when I didn't want to get out of bed, days when everything felt impossible, days when I questioned whether any of this was worth it. But I showed up anyway. Not because I felt like it, because the mission demanded it. When Tesla was on the brink of collapse, I didn't wake up motivated. I woke up terrified. But I still went to the factory, I still slept on the floor, I still pushed through the exhaustion. Motivation didn't save Tesla. Discipline did. If you're over 50, you've probably learned this lesson the hard way. You've had moments where motivation carried you for a week, maybe a month, but discipline carried you through decades. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. If you rely on motivation, you will quit the moment things get hard. If you rely on discipline, you will keep going long after everyone else stops. Practical takeaway. Here's what I want you to do. Build habits that don't care about your mood. Consistency beats intensity. Create systems that force progress. Don't rely on willpower. Show up even when you don't feel like it. That's where the breakthroughs happen. Track your progress. What gets measured improves. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. Build the engine. Lesson 5. I recover by changing environments, not by escaping the mission. People think recovery means doing nothing. That's not how my brain works. If I'm burned out from engineering, I switch to design. If I'm burned out from design, I switch to strategy. If I'm burned out from strategy, I go play with my kids. If I'm burned out from everything, I go outside and stare at the sky for a while. Recovery isn't stopping, it's changing gears. When you're aligned with your mission, switching gears is enough to reset your mind. I've never taken a vacation from my life. I don't need to. My life is built around things that energize me. But I do take micro breaks. I change environments, I shift tasks. I let my brain rest by doing something different, not by doing nothing. If you're over 50, you've probably learned this lesson the hard way. You've had moments where motivation carried you for a week, maybe a month, but discipline carried you through decades. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. If you rely on motivation, you will quit the moment things get hard. If you rely on discipline, you will keep going long after everyone else stops. Practical takeaway. Here's what I want you to do. Rotate tasks instead of quitting them. Let your brain recover through variety. Change environments. A different room can change your entire mindset. Take micro breaks. 5 minutes of breathing beats 5 hours of scrolling. Let your mind rest by shifting focus, not by shutting down. Recovery isn't escape. Recovery is renewal.
Let's break a few myths that are probably destroying your energy, your focus, and your confidence. These myths are everywhere. You've heard them for decades, and they're wrong. Myth 1. Working hard always leads to burnout. You've been told that working hard is dangerous, that long hours will destroy you, that pushing yourself is unhealthy. That's wrong. Working hard on meaningless things leads to burnout. Working hard on meaningful things creates energy. When I'm working 100-hour weeks on something I believe in, I don't feel drained. I feel alive. I feel focused. I feel like I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Burnout isn't about hours. Burnout is about misalignment. If you're exhausted, it's not because you're working too much, it's because you're working on the wrong things. Myth 2. You need balance to stay healthy. You've been told to slow down, take it easy, find balance. Balance is a luxury. Alignment is survival. When you're aligned with your mission, you don't need balance, you need momentum. When Tesla was weeks away from bankruptcy, do you think I cared about balance? No, I cared about survival. I cared about the mission. I cared about the future. Balance is something you earn after you build the life you want, not before. Myth 3. You should slow down as you get older. This one frustrates me the most. People act like age is a disease, like turning 50 or 60 means your ambition should expire. That's nonsense. You don't slow down because you're old. You slow down because you're uninspired. I've met 25-year-olds who are already mentally retired, and I've met 70-year-olds who are sharper, hungrier, and more driven than people half their age. Age isn't the problem, purpose is. If you still have something meaningful to build, you're not done, not even close. I want to give you something simple, something you can remember, something you can use tomorrow morning without thinking. This is the framework I use to avoid burnout even during 100-hour weeks. I call it the fuel method. Every letter is a principle. Every principle protects your energy. Every principle compounds. F. Focus on what matters. Stop scattering your attention. Stop doing 20 things halfway. Do the 1 to 2 things that actually move your life forward. U. Unload the noise. Cut the obligations. Cut the distractions. Cut the people who drain you. Noise is the enemy of clarity. E. Eliminate friction. Fix the bottlenecks. Simplify your workflow. Remove the tiny annoyances that drain your energy every day. Friction is optional. Stop treating it like destiny. L. Leverage purpose, not pressure. Pressure drains you. Purpose fuels you. If you're working for a paycheck, you'll burn out. If you're working for a mission, you'll rise. If you follow this framework, you'll have more energy at 60 than you did at 30. Not because you're working less, but because you're working aligned. Let me leave you with something I've learned the hard way. You're not running out of time, you're running out of excuses. You have more energy left than you think. You have more potential left than you think. You have more life left than you think. You're not tired, you're misaligned. Fix the alignment and the energy will return. I've lived through chaos, failure, exhaustion, and near bankruptcy, and I'm telling you from experience, you can push far harder than you believe if you're pushing in the right direction. If you want more of my hard lessons without the sugarcoating, subscribe and don't miss the next one.